Hey everybody, welcome back to Dungeon. Did you just
Yes, he did.
vocally nut? Where's the button, Zag?
Yes, the classic vocal nut.
I think it's in the closet. I don't really know.
Wow. Falling down
That's,
on your duties. I see how it
callback.
is.
I had to put it up. Siley like suppressed it too much. He thinks it's too funny.
I mean, it was pretty funny. How's it going, everybody?
Yeah,
Welcome back
but
to
not for an
Dungeon
8-year-old.
of the Mad Mage. This is session 138, and yeah, I'm really interested to see where things go. So we're just gonna dive into a little bit of a recap. Previously, outside of the Dungeon of the Mad Mage, the party breathed in the frigid but fresh air of a snow-covered Waterdeep. Their return to the surface was much celebrated by the patrons of the Yawning Portal, but soon enough, the party moved on, splitting up and heading through the city in order to accomplish the tasks that had brought them topside.
More wine.
The evening saw a myriad of these activities. Bones visited with Eatatin and Ochotu for work. Ashes went to the Temple of the Moon for information about the strange manifestations he experienced with Zalara. Ezrah handled business with Sine at the Lifted Spirits, and Matashtai tracked down the masked man with whom he arranged to have Wolf gain more freedom, at the risk of the imprisoned Fae's existence. It was a busy time,
Damn.
rather than an opportunity for rest and recuperation, and as the evening passed into night and then to morning, that didn't change. For on the morning of the 25th of Hammer, as the party set about their morning ritual in the Lifted Spirits, they found, waiting for each of them, a summons to their respective patrons. So, after taking care of some basic tasks, the party found themselves once more separating, each off to see the individuals that had brought them together in the first place, that had tasked them with delving into Undermountain, discovering the secrets of the Shadow, and making sure it could never reach Waterdeep again. That had been over 3 months ago, 4 since the horrible events of High Harvesttide, when the Shadow had once again seeped into the streets of Waterdeep. Matashtai made his way to Pirgaron's palace, where he was met with a waiting attendant. The monk was led to the East Wing, a maze of hallways that all looked the same. He shortly found himself in a small audience room with Laeral Silverhand, the open lord of Waterdeep, and one of the leaders of the Lord's Alliance. At first, Laeral was brusque, almost accusatory, as she demanded a report from Matashtai. But as the monk answered her questions calmly, Laeral began to shift her tone, the one that still held confidence in the party, and advised caution and measured progress. Then her attention turned to a different issue. Halaster Silvermane, a member of the Lord's Alliance, accused the party of abandoning his rescue operation in the Xanathar's lair. Matashtai explained the situation as best he could, and Laeral's response was disconcerting. Rather than be angry, she seemed to show an immense weight upon her person, and then commanded Matashtai that in the future, he must not hesitate to abandon those in need if assisting them meant jeopardizing his mission. Matashtai voiced his understanding, though not his acceptance, and the two parted ways. Next, Ezrah met with Mert, the moneylender, at the Lighthouse Theater. I remember it this time. Mert was a leader within the Harpers organization, a voice of confidence and support for both Ezrah and the party as a whole. He explained that there was a growing concern amongst the combined groups that as the year progressed and swung back towards High Harvesttide, the risk of another attack from the Shadow grew. There was a feeling that not enough progress was being made. But after listening to Ezra's report on the party's journey, Mert seemed confident that enough was being done. He cautioned Ezrah, but didn't seem concerned about the overall speed the party explored at. He also let Ezrah know that Kalal Kladani had sent word that the party was likely safe to return to Skullport should they choose to. Meanwhile, Ashes found his way to Blackstaff Tower, where he met with Vajra Safar, the 7th Blackstaff. Vajra, simply put, was in a fury. She seemed beset from all sides by mounting threats, and the party's measured progress infuriated her, another threat slowly looming on the horizon. She demanded the Blood Hunter increase the pace of the party. When Ashes asked for assistance utilizing the portals to increase the party's ability to travel through the dungeon, Vajra posited that the party should risk more for the city's sake. The Blackstaff also criticized Ash's time spent with the Temple of the Moon, though she seemed accepting of it as long as it empowered Ashes to complete his task swiftly. Last but not least, she informed Ashes of a minor translation issue with the original portent that had brought all of this together. It had not been Bard, but Mage. And that might mean something. But Vajra was too busy to discuss things further. She dismissed Ashes rather abruptly, needing to turn to a different task. The Blood Hunter made his way back out into the city. 3 of the 4 party members had answered their summons and experienced 3 very different sets of instruction. The matter, or rather the mission, was of grave import. But as is wont for many things, ideas on how exactly to complete a task vary. What will the 4th patron have to say? And that is where we actually are going to... that is where we're going to jump into the scene, basically. There's a lot of stuff that we're going to have to backtrack to, mind you, because there's stuff that Zach's going to need to do from day 1 and other things, etc. But I would like to go ahead and just jump into Bones heading to Falconmere Manor for his summons. Cat tree.
I'll allow it.
Ah!
No, that was the laziest cat treat taking
It was
I've ever
super
seen.
lazy.
I don't even know that he deserves it at this point.
A good lazy kid. All right, so Bones, you have made your way. I'm coming. Gosh. You have made your way through the City of Splendors, down into the Trade Ward.
I'm trading.
Actually, past the Trade Ward into the Southern Ward.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure it's not there.
Down to Falconmere Manor. And as you arrive outside of the large gate and the walls that surround the manor, you see a very odd sight. It's raining heavily inside, which is not especially odd at the manor itself. It's rained many times just within the isolated environment of the manor while you visited without it being raining elsewhere in Waterdeep. But very specifically, the city around you is covered in a blanket of snow, and it's just raining in Falconmere. Looking through the gates, you can see that the bars, right, are slightly bent, and one of them is twisted and snapped. And the front of the manor itself is covered in soot.
All right.
But the gates open at your approach, right? You are a recognized individual by the manor. It does not bar your pass, and you're immediately, like, as you walk in, there's just torrential rain pouring down around you.
Dang, Jareth must be hot.
And as you approach the main entrance, you can see next to it, right? There appears to be a maybe like a 2x2 patch that's been scrubbed on the wall next to the door, where the soot is like slowly being removed by something, but it doesn't look like it's going well.
Okay.
You approach, the door opens for you. Again, the manor just responding to your presence. And as it does, you hear a voice call out from the sitting room that you normally meet with Melanor and Jareth in. Is just like 15 paces down the hall and hooked to the left. You hear Melanor's voice from there, just like, "Oh, Bones, is that you? Come in! Come in! Get out of that rain!"
I come in. I say, "Oh, hey."
Door closes behind you. You can hear he's kind of like talking, not whispering, but kind of like speaking lowly. And the manor kind of like creaks around you, right? I need different music. Where's my other music?
Yeah, he's talking to old Jareth. I got you.
Yeah, it's pretty clearly. Is this the right one?
Oh, so ominous. Much ominous, very well.
Much ominous, very well. So, you head into the parlor, right? Where you see Melanor is standing over kind of like that central location. There's a table, right? It's more like a low coffee table. It's not actually a coffee table, but it's like a low table. And that is generally where Jareth's voice kind of like emanates from. There are plants, kind of like little potted plants all over it. And you can you come in on the tail end of Jareth, right, kind of muttering about that damned mage. If he ever shows his face here again. And then Melanor kind of like not shushes her, but kind of like, puts a hand up and she quiets as you enter the room. And
what mage?
Melanor looks at the plants, right? And Melanor sighs, right? Melanor gives this deep sigh, and you hear Jareth's voice just say, "I want to tell you, really, I do. But you have more pressing concerns at this moment. The Coalition is up in arms, if you were not aware. Members are unhappy."
Okay.
Okay.
Melanor just kind of like looks at you and kind of like bats eyelashes as you're like nonchalant about it, right? But
She's
you
like,
hear
"Bitch."
you hear Jareth just kind of like chuckle, right? And she says, "And this is why I chose you. Not one to freak out over the slightest of things. These younglings do not understand. They don't grasp that sometimes, when you are the hunter, you must stand still. You must move slowly, stalk your prey, until the time is right. At which point, then it is time for speed. time to strike without hesitation. You are doing what needs to be done. There's no gallivanting or lollygagging to be concerned with. If there was, I would know.
Damn.
Yep, that's true. I'm all business all the time.
Oh yeah, are you all business all the time?
That's when she's like, oh, okay.
It's not Jareth that makes a comment. It's Melanor who kind of like.
I give a wry smile though.
He says
he covers it with jokes.
So what are they mad about?
There have been concerns brought up that the progress made by your party is too cautious, too slow, that time is against us. But it is as Mistress Falcon says. The nature of things is an ebb and flow. You are not a racehorse. We are not riding you to your doom. You must progress as seems natural.
Yeah. Natural order and all.
However, other activities need to be reined in when necessary. What benefits you, yes, well, good. As long as it carries you forward, as long as it... And then, as he's kind of like long-windedly saying this, right? Like, you hear the rustle of the leaves of the plants, right? And Jareth just says, as long as you're able to go in for the kill when necessary. You must position yourself properly.
Who we killing?
And strike whoever needs to die.
Yeah, I'm a
Laerol is of the belief, has been since the beginning, that this shadow can be figured out and removed. I said at the start, burn it all to the ground. The entirety of it is a root, a nest of evil, darkness. This shadow is only allowed to thrive, to prosper there because of the rest of its environment. Remove Halaster, remove the Seven, or what remains of them, and rid of this shadow. Otherwise, something else will just replace one or the lot of them.
Yeah, I agree. No half measures.
Melanor kind of like sighs and kind of like, we were more concerned that we just hadn't heard from you in quite some time. That's why we reached out when we heard you were in the city.
Well, yeah, I've been planning on burning the house down, so it takes a while.
Melanor kind of looks at you a little hesitantly, and he says, you have perhaps found succor beneath a place of comfort or safety?
Oh yeah, me and my boys, we took over the 6th floor. The lost levels.
This was the cause for your lack of return.
Oh yeah, the place is like a haven for the crafting.
Grafton Haven.
I just feel like I can concentrate better down there.
Jareth kind of speaks up and she says, "Yes. Good. Take the mountain's power for yourself. Just beware the touch of the shadow. The longer you stay down there, the more apt you are never to see sunlight again."
Okay. I'm on it. So tell me about the mage that bombed the manor. What's his name? Where's he live? What's their name? It could be a female.
Melanor kind of like, there's an unspoken exchange, a brief moment, right? And then Melanor says, "The individual is a old enemy of ours.
I love old enemies. Where does he live?
We do not know where he is currently residing, or rather hiding within the city. His presence is not welcome here. There are many who are already dealing with this. The one who attacked the manor is known by the name Manshoon."
Oh yeah, Manshoon, yeah. We've been hearing about that. Well, I've heard his name once.
Melanor like furrows his brows and is like, "You, what? When? Where?"
It's like, I don't know. It's like a password to a level.
How strange.
Is it?
Manshoon has been laying low for many years. He has only recently poked his head back up. Wherein did Melanor starts to kind of like speak again in the slow Melanor style, and Jareth just is like, "We want to cut it off." And Melanor's like, nods, right?
Okay, can I help?
Jareth says, "This, right here, this is the problem. Focus."
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It just sounded like a lot of fun.
There are many others. Other organizations are now aware of his presence. He will be dealt with, and if ultimately we need you, know how to find you. But for now,
okay.
You focus.
I'm like a laser. Sorry, wait. I'm like a. I'm like an arrow.
Oh, fuck. The Emerald Enclave just being like, "What's a laser?"
What's a laser?
Alright, so Melanor and Jareth, they're not dismissive of you, right? But it's clear they have other things that they're dealing with, and they are welcome. You are welcome to discuss things with them if you so choose. Otherwise, they really mostly wanted to bring you in because they hadn't heard from you. You've been gone. You've been down in the dungeon for like 19 days or some shit like that. It was a long ass time. It wasn't that long. It's just been a long time. Yeah. I think you popped up for like half a day one time or some shit like that to like boss items or something.
Been down there since the 5th, I think.
Yeah. So they but they do not seem perturbed, right? Jareth does not seem. She seems perturbed, just not by you or your party's progress. You are free to go. as you choose.
All right, hell yeah.
And it is at that point, right, that I think we move back into a more freeform style scenario. So that would have taken up a chunk of time from each of you throughout your day on the 25th, but you still would have enough time in that day to get a work day in, right, on any particular progress, and do other, like, minor side activities. So, anybody got anything that they're wanting to do? Anyone want to jump up and discuss things?
What part of my list got done?
All of the part of your list got done. So on the 24th, you would have gone to Aotadin, and picked up your new item. And if you wanted to drop anything off or discuss anything with him, you could do that. You would have spent a good part of your evening with Ochotu just making things. We'll have you roll here in a little bit for that stuff, because I'm also going to have you roll for the success of the worm bone for the last week. And then you would have sent information, a missive to the guild, and the guild would have let you know that they can be available this evening to do a review. It does cost you 250 gold, as a heads up.
No.
Okay.
It is what it is.
It's basically the application fee, pretty much. So,
Makes sense.
to keep people from just being like, I go. I'm gonna get it eventually.
One day I'll succeed and be better.
Right?
Did all my money and stuff get added to my sheet? This looks to be a lot more than I had.
Yes, I added all of the stuff that we had compiled from that previous thing, so you should be good.
Including the sale of the extra items?
Yes, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the great sword and necklace and that got included?
Did you post that?
In the Discord.
Then yes. Yeah. It should all be added. Because I went in afterwards and just grabbed all of the shit that you were like, here's the splits. And I was like, okay, here we go. So it should be good.
Okay.
Okay. So, anybody? Fuck it. We'll just go around the room. Everybody rollies. Highest goes first.
Is it out of 20 or?
Yeah, D20.
Yeah, I'm first.
Wow.
10.
Low fucking
10.
rolls this time around.
Get the shitty ones out of the way.
Oh my goodness. All right, Bones. Are you doing anything for your day? You have a work day available to you, and then you can do your guild stuff in the evening.
Is this the day of my guild stuff?
Yeah, this would be the day of your guild stuff.
What day are we on? The 24th?
25th.
We're on the 25th. We here. Okay.
Yeah. We here. We on the 25th.
Okay, and how much stuff did I get done at the Worm Beyond?
Roll me a bone carving.
'Cause I want to have like nice stuff.
Roll me a bone carving.
24.
That's pretty good. Hey, y'all quit fighting. Y'all quit it. 24. You sent me a list of stuff, right?
Yeah, I wanted to make a bunch of stuff and also a chandelier and a double-bladed scimitar if possible.
Okay, that's a lot to do in one afternoon. So you have not gotten all of that taken care of.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If I didn't get it
Yeah.
done, I'm gonna do it some more.
Yeah. So, it was a chandelier, it was a double-bladed scimitar, and then it was like a bunch of odds and ends weapons, right? So, what were those?
Yeah, just stuff to sell. Staves, dags, bow.
Okay. On a
swords.
24, right? I will say that you could have completed one of the more intricate pieces. You could have done the double-bladed scimitar, or you could have done we'll say 3 other weapons, right? Because the double-bladed is just more complicated. But a chandelier is is a little bit more time, right? Like, unless it's a very, very simple chandelier. So, like, that one's gonna take at least, like, 2 or 3 days, I would think.
What if I want to make the double-bladed scimitar a masterwork?
If you want to make it a masterwork, I think that takes 2 days?
That would be
Or is that
uncommon,
1 day?
2 days? I don't know. Is a masterwork a common or an uncommon?
I think technically it would count as a common in this particular instance.
Damn, so I could have done that in 1 day?
Yeah, so you could have done that yesterday.
Okay, that's what I wanted to do then. I'll put it in the window.
Okay. Make note of that.
How long are we staying up? Did we decide that?
That has not even been discussed, like, at all.
Sweet.
Well, and I think the reason why it hasn't been discussed is because the idea is no one knew when you were going to be able to do your guild thing.
Yeah, me neither. Burp. Okay, then I will begin working on things for the layperson, starting with the well, because Ochotu's making other shit, right?
Yeah, Shotu's been, in point of fact, actually, as we kind of, like, get into this, let's do a roll for, the Wormbone.
Okay, what I'll roll?
D100.
Ooh, yeah, alright. 1d100. I rolled a 69, yeah!
Nice.
Get a room.
Ah.
Oh, nice.
Ah.
Roll. That is a good roll. 69 gives us. Roll me a 40-12.
14, 12. It says rolling the dice, hold on. 33.
Good lord.
Pretty free.
Ochotu's been doing good. He's been steadily buying up things and making stuff. And from the stuff that you made last time, you've made 165 gold in the past week out of the Wormbone.
Hell yeah. We're rich.
Rich.
Bitch.
I'm rich, man. Yeah, motherfucker. Okay, cool. 165. 165. We will use it to buy proper display cases.
You can.
That is what we will do.
Okay.
It
Ochotu
is
will.
decided.
Ochotu will arrange that. Are you just giving? Are you taking the 165, or are you putting the 165 back into the business for Ochotu to, like,
No.
spend?
Nah, I let him spend it.
Okay. I will note
I say,
that
hey-
that is in its inventory.
Hey man, we need cool display cases and like mannequins and spotlights for our windows.
He asks if you want him to make them or if you want him to find and buy them.
Hmm.
I mean, he can't make all of it, right? He'll have to buy
What's our-
some components, but
What's our inventory level look like?
it's the place is relatively stocked. You keep every time you come up, you make supplemental stuff, and then he's working every day, basically. So it's stocked. It's
Okay,
not
I
like
think we
I
should-
wouldn't call it as like fully stocked necessarily, but it's stocked.
Okay, I think we should make them then.
Okay. Make. Okay. He'll look into it.
All right. And then I will get to work on my sweet bone chandelier.
Okay. That one that one I think just because it's a chandelier, right? So like I'm gonna say that's gonna take you 3 days to complete, right? I'll say 2 if Ochotu is helping you.
Okay. Makes sense to me.
Okay. Is that that's your daily activity? Are you doing any other like little things throughout the day, or is that pretty much it? Aside from your date this evening.
I will take some time to attune to my thing, my new item, and I will tool around with it a little bit.
Nice.
And I will also I'll set aside some time to arrive early because I want to change money.
Okay.
That would have been part of my list as well, anyway. As I always is when I come up.
Easy peasy. And you could have sent that information in the missive the day before, so they will be prepared for you. Okay, sounds good. If that is the case, then we are going to jump over to Ashes. After your did you go see Vajra in the morning or what? Because you did basic shopping with Ezrah, like you sold off some stuff and then did some basic shopping. But other than that, after that, you went to see Vajra. So after that exciting conversation, what did you end up doing for the day, or what are you ending up doing for the day?
Okay, so I would like to go back. I did not keep the name of this place. To the institution where I had learned uncommon potion crafting and was offered better courses at the cost of money I didn't have on hand.
Gotcha.
And would like to see where we stand on that. Since I do, in fact, now have money.
So since I do, in fact, now have the muns. Yeah, so that would have been the Guild of Apothecaries, basically. I think it's got a more specific name, but I cannot remember it off the top of my head. I think it has a more specific name. I know it has a more specific name. It's in the pinned list of all the guilds, but I can't actually check that pinned list because it breaks the layout. So. But anyways, that is in the trade ward, I believe. So it's easy enough to head on over there and your point of contact was, I believe it was Dwight.
That sounds right. Guild of...
Check my...
Yeah. The pin was not your comment, but a screenshot of the comment, so I can't control F it.
Yeah. He is he's one of the administrative heads
Apothecaries
of the Guild
and
of Apothecaries and Physicians. Yep.
Yep, I just got there.
Yep. So you are able to head there and make your way into the guild's. This is one of the guild's many administrative locations, but this is the main one, right? And you're able to you're directed as you kind of like say why you're asked what you need as you kind of say why you're there. You are directed to Dwight's. Casey's learning to make balloon animals.
Oh, look at that. Got a little
Don't get it wrong. Don't fuck it up.
Brontosaurus?
Nice. Very nice. Gonna fall. That's okay. So yeah, you are able to make your way to see Dwight, and Dwight's room is all jumbled up, and he seems way overworked, and stressed out. The whole guild is just like a hubbub of activity, and you know this because it's not only is it one of the administrative buildings of the guild, but it's also like a storefront and a clinic and kind of like all of the above. But anyways, Dwight, you know, at this point, Dwight did not recognize you the second time you came in, but Dwight does recognize you the third time that you come in. And he's like,
Yeah, I'm sure
you are,
Ashes. It's
yes. Sorry.
and I would have forgotten your name if the DM didn't tell me. So
That's
it's
fair. That's absolutely fair, right? And you're able to just discuss things with Dwight.
Yeah. So you said what? 2,500.
Yeah, it will be. I believe it is 2,500 and today 5-day to rank up because you're going from uncommon to rare, right?
Correct.
Gotcha. I believe that's correct. It would be. Yeah, 2,500 and 5 work days, and that will teach you what you need to know to go from uncommon to rare. But it will also, part of that and part of the expense is that you're not allowed to do this within Waterdeep unless you go through the process of being registered with the guild. So that 2,500 is also a part of becoming a registered and licensed member of the guild within Waterdeep. So in the future, you will have 5 gold that you'll have to pay for monthly dues, but that's relatively minor for you guys. But yeah, it's a scenario of who can craft certain types of potions is heavily regulated within Waterdeep. Because otherwise, you get people selling all sorts of shits in the street.
You'd like some flour mixed in with your crack.
Yeah, well, you know, that's what we have to worry about in, like, the mundane world. In fantasy land, they gotta worry about magic shit in their potions. So, like...
flour in their magic crack.
Right, yeah, pretty much.
Alright, so chances are likely not gonna have a set of 5 days in a row here in the city.
You don't need it.
Okay.
Dwight tells you, because remember when you first showed up, Dwight was like, "Hi," and then he realized, "Oh, you're an adventurer. Here's the adventurer form for this, right?" Like, so Dwight's aware of who you are, right? And I believe the individual that taught you at your basics, right? The first time around to go from common to uncommon was Beryl, who is one of the master alchemists with the guild. She will be your tutor, instructor, licensure, right? Like that type of scenario. And you already have her contact information. You actually already know, like, she has a laboratory that she works in the guild in this location. So you just have to find her whenever you have free time, and she'll try to make herself available as best she can. Because she's on the guild. She's on the guild's dollar, so part of this 2,500 is going to her time, right?
All right, well, I just grab a sack that has 250 platinum in it and just boom.
You see a look in Dwight's eyes for a moment. Roll me insight.
Insight.
Yeah.
Am I about to get mugged?
No, he's fucking, like, seriously adventurers.
Yep.
Well,
Ashes, you think for a moment, you see this kind of like, you see this scenario in Dwight's eyes where it's like, do I say fuck all this and just take this and run?
I'm sure you get a receipt, bro.
that is true. Like, Colin hasn't run yet, but
and then you see him kind of like sigh and open a ledger and start writing things down, and you see him like open a drawer in his desk, and there's a padded lockbox in there. And he
Oh, I thought you were
unlocks
saying he
it.
pulled out some like whiskey and started
No, he
shooting.
unlocks it and he puts the bag of coins in there and then relocks it and etc. etc. So it all seems by the books.
Fuck my morality.
Oh shit. And I mean, you have enough time to go see if Barrel's available and start your training.
Sure, I'll give it a shot.
Barrel, as a reminder, is this older, kind of not crotchety, but kind of like abrasive elf, right? She kind of has that like I'm tired of these young folks kind of attitude. But you're a paying gonna be member of the guild now, so she is a knowledgeable teacher, if not a good teacher, right? She shows you exactly what you need to know, and more specifically, right? Like she while she is instructing you, she's also telling you a lot about the responsibilities that you have to pay attention to as a part of the Guild of Apothecaries and Physicians, right? And the pitfalls. If you're gonna be selling shit, you have to be by the book, basically, right? Like, if any of your potions are ever found to do anything that they are not described or deemed appropriate, right? She'll actually pull you out. There's a list of, like, you can sell these potions in Waterdeep, right? And you realize there's a lot of not crazy shit on the list. Obviously, you can make whatever you want, right? But selling, you can't go around just selling like, oh, here's a potion of fucking, I don't know, ancient gold dragon breath. Like, fires are an issue.
I'd like that.
Right? Like,
A potion of ancient gold dragon breath. May I have that one too?
no, absolutely not. And actually, yeah, aphrodisiacs are one of those things. Anything that has a charm component on it is actually illegal to sell in Waterdeep as far as, like, a potion is concerned.
So as casting that kind of magic in general,
absolutely.
right?
Yep. 100%. So
it makes sense.
But
I just
anyways,
wanted her to love me.
then that's the problem. That is the fucking problem right there. So,
Story of my
Henry
life.
Crabgrass says,
consent is important.
She said yes. It was after she drank
No,
the love
no,
potion.
no,
but
get
she
out of
said-
here. No, we're
Uh-oh.
cutting that shit off immediately.
Danger.
Cutting it off.
Danger.
Done. Nope. Unacceptable. Anyways, you are able to spend the rest of your day learning from Beryl and just kind of like experimenting with a lot of the setups that she offers you, right? And learn a lot of little interesting things. So, it's fun time. You mark down one of your 5 days of training to go through the situation.
of rare pot training, 1 of 5.
Okay, cool.
Done and done.
Done and done. Any other little odds and ends?
There are not.
Okay.
No odds or ends.
Ezrah. After your very, just fine, very, chill conversation with Mert, what would you like to do with your day?
I got nothing on the docket, so I will make my way back to Trollskull, and I will make myself a person of interest in the tavern, showing that the owners are,
Occasionally here?
present.
Roll me a persuasion check.
Sounds like a fancy way to say you're getting day drunk.
I mean, that sounds pretty good, honestly. 30. Okay. How personable is Ezra being? Because you get approached a lot by patrons. A lot. So
I'm
is Ezra
an
like
awkward person, but
yeah.
I will talk to people as they come up, and as long as they're not asking
They ask you to
ridiculous
like
stuff.
they ask you to tell stories, right? Like tell stories about your adventures, and they like ask for explanations of some of the trophies, right? And like, a lot of them walk away, and you're not that perceptive. Ezra's not that perceptive, but there might be once or twice where Ezra overhears, man, that guy's a little weird, but he's pretty cool. He's done a lot of cool shit. Like, you kind of get that whole vibe. You throw off that kind of like eccentric vibe to a lot of the patrons, which kind of only like encourages the overall mythos of the party around the Troll Skull Manor, because now not only are you skilled adventurers who have crazy adventures and are kind of the talk of the town at the moment in a lot of places, but you're also apparently wealthy enough to own your own manor, your own bar, and you're eccentric, right? Like you're weird, which has well, it has it has this effect though amongst the laymen, amongst the lay people, right? It has this effect of eccentricity is strange, it's mysterious, it's interesting. So it kind of does actually add to people's enjoyment, and they're like, oh yeah, oh nice, right? This is gonna be a slight uptick in popularity.
Yeah.
It's rewind time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that would have been for a 20, right? But the 30 actually gets you your presence and the kind of like slightly awkward but sincere nature and the storytelling and the kind of like building this mythos of the party, it pleases the patrons so much that they tip especially well on this day, which pleases all of the staff members a shit ton. So not only are you going to get +1 to the Lifted Spirits popularity for a duration, right? Only for a duration, but you're also going to get a +1 to the morale of the staff, again, for a duration.
Good.
That being said, that's basically a work day for you. So,
Okay.
Okay, well, if that is what Ezra is doing for most of the day, any odds and ends, any, like, little things?
I did my shopping already, so...
Okay, sounds good. A fucking 30. Hot damn.
We got +12.
I mean, sure.
He got the skills to do it.
I mean, he still rolled an 18. That's pretty damn good.
Ooh,
It is
Jeremy,
very
I thought of another small thing I would like to do.
Okay.
I would like to seek out an artist and have
An artist.
various posters made advertising my shop.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, roll me an investigation check. DC
One of which-
13.
Investigation. I rolled a 9.
You're having difficulty finding things because it's the middle of winter, right? It's midwinter. So, a lot of places, there's not a lot of activity around the city, except for, like, the logical kind of, like, have to get food, have to, get drink, that type of stuff. So you do have a bit of difficulty, and it's either going to eat into other time, or you're going to have to let this one go.
I'll roll it into tomorrow.
Okay, gotcha. Sounds good. Okie dokie. Matashtai, what are you doing for the day? I'm listening. I'm getting a drink.
Gee, is this still the same day that I did all the wolf stuff, or was this the next day?
Next day.
Next day.
Okay.
This is after you met with Laryl.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, then I think at this point he
Whoa.
said that he would probably be done. So
He said he would be
check in.
done this evening.
Oh, I thought it was like 10 a.m. Sorry. Okay. That was the meeting with Laryl, wasn't it?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. You have a day to do like work stuff, but you know the masked man
Yeah.
is busy throughout the day, so you're probably not going to be able to do your persuasion stuff today.
Oh, I forgot to ask. Are we doing downtime stuff while we're up as well, or does
You
that?
can
is it
okay,
one
so
or the
you can
other?
do downtime stuff up as well, but you don't get to do it as part of your nightly activities, right? It's you have to do a work day for it, that type of scenario. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Basically, I let you guys do the downtime activities as part of your nightly rituals while you're in the dungeon, but not up top, right? Because otherwise, you don't have anything else going on, basically.
Yeah, but like, how long would that be? Is that like an
Technically,
all-day thing?
it's an 8
or-
hour. It's 8 hours technically.
Okay.
But you only
Okay.
get one work day activity in a day. Like you can't do, I'm going to do a work day on this and on this, right? So you
Okay.
get one work day activity per 24 hours, basically.
I guess I'm gonna go do some work for the town guard. Which one am I a member of?
the city guard.
I
The
think
city guard.
City guard.
Yes,
Yeah.
you are a shield amongst the city guard, and you are if you are wearing your badge of office, you are recognized as such. I mean, you aren't always recognized as such, right? Because you're down in the dungeon the vast majority of the time, but
Yeah.
as soon as people realize who you are, your name is recognized amongst the guard very quickly.
Well, I'm gonna go check in, see if there's any work. See what I gotta do to get some promotions.
Some promotions.
I'm gonna be the commander of the city guard one day.
Oh,
are you? I am.
And Matt
got-
the policeman.
I'm gonna be the
At which-
Hokage one day.
At which point, I'm going to convert it to the Hearth Guard of Waterdeep.
You got some gumption, but I say that, but you're actually. Here's the thing: you are technically not a member of the city guard. You are considered
What?
Whoa!
You are considered an
What?
ally of the city
Yeah, we got
guard.
a
Fucked
fucking
up.
Because
vigilante on our hands.
the city guard has
I
a
put my bat
specific
mask on.
a specific hierarchy, right? But there are what are called allies amongst the city guard that are other factions or other city militia or those types of things. A lot of them are also just adventuring groups, right? Those types of things. But those individuals, that set also has its own hierarchy, its own ranking. And you are kind of mid-tier as far as that goes right now.
Damn,
Yeah.
mid tier.
Fucking rest in peace.
Fucking hit me with the mid tier.
Damn, he's so fucking mid.
I mean,
Damn. All right.
there are people that
I'm gonna take
all
my mid tier on ass over to the.
there
city
are
guard and
people
see what
that
work
all
got.
they do every day, day in, day out of their lives is work to assist the guard, right?
Fucking sworn friend of Mandius, mid.
Sworn. I don't know that you were ever declared a sworn friend.
I
of
vividly
Mandius.
remember becoming his sworn friend.
Sworn friend.
Remember them?
I remember the sworning
Blood
ceremony.
Oh,
Yeah,
do
the
you?
sworning ceremony was very touching.
Agreed.
Interesting.
Matt was at the front of the griffin like this,
Yeah.
and Mandius was behind him,
Yeah.
and they
yeah.
sang.
And we sang, yes. We definitely
Wow.
sang.
Nice. Very nice. I totally believe this. Absolutely.
Like, I'm
The
king of the
singing was
world!
the best part.
Yes, the real
okay.
question is which one
Wherever
does
you
the Aladdin part and which one does the Jasmine part?
That was a Titanic reference, sir.
They both do
Oh.
both.
They don't sing in
They
Titanic.
both do both.
They both do both. Because neither of them is willing to let go of a part. All right, Matashtai. We're gonna call this. This is just gonna be a random luck chance. Roll me a d20. Your DC, no modifiers. Your DC is 12.
Okay. How about a 9?
Alright, so, you make your way to the North Ward, or to the garrison in the North Ward, right on the edge of the Field Ward, and you ask around. You show your badge. You are recognized, or if you're not recognized, your name is recognized, and you're put in touch with someone. The only issue, as you're like, yo, hey, I'm up, put me to work, right, is the guard that you are speaking to, right, basically looks at you and is like, yeah, well, it's the middle of winter. I'm assuming you're not looking for menial labor.
Guard duty at this place called the Lifted Spirits. We heard it's getting pretty rowdy over there.
Follow-up question. If I do menial labor, can I increase my strength?
No.
You lifted,
Yeah.
bro.
Yes, over
Okay,
15 weeks.
yeah, that's the question. What is your strength right now?
12?
No, then absolutely not. Right? Because a 12 is already well above average. A 12 is like, because 10 is an average human, right? So a 12 is like, you a strong dude, right? Like, you're not Hercules strong, but you're a strong dude. Like, you're not gonna get stronger off of just lifting some things. You're gonna have to like go through extreme training regimens to get up to like 13 or 14. You know?
That's fair.
To the mountains.
To the mountains, sitting under waterfalls. I think at this point, right, like Valena would pop into your head, right, and she would say, well, maybe the idea isn't labor. Surely these guards are bored out of their minds, being all cooped up with all the snow. You could try some painting, like set up shop and just do some caricatures or something like that, just for random guards. Might maybe brighten their mood.
That's a great idea, Valena. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna get Isla out, but I'm gonna start asking the guardsmen if they want some pictures of themselves, and
That
Doing
sergeant,
caricatures.
that sergeant that you were talking to
offended.
was like, wait, are you? Fine, whatever, and just kind of like turns around and walks away because you were like, I'll do some, and then you were like, wait, never mind, I'm not gonna do that.
so Matt has ADHD. I don't know if you guys knew. Like, definitely cannot keep his attention on anything.
Big surprise.
Oh, I play by my own rules.
That's pretty awesome. Okay, let's do this here. Matt has the skill, right? But does Matt have the charm? So you haven't quite kicked this in yet, but let's roll a persuasion as you're doing this to see how this goes, and I will, if you pass it, count this as practicing your persuasion.
Okay, can I use things on this, or is it just I get what I get?
It's over the course of a whole day of several hours. So I would say
So a talisman's not going to do it.
no, not a talisman's not going to do it.
All right, I believe.
You get what you get, and you don't pitch a fit.
Incapable of failing the fucking persuasion checks. Isn't it a 12? Or is it a 13?
It's a 13. Wait,
Does meeting
what
it
I
need it?
rolled or
The DC on it. Or is it a 10?
to like complete it? I think it was just a 10. I think it was
Yeah,
just
I think it's a 50-50. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You have not failed one of these persuasion checks.
I don't know. This just feels like destiny, right?
Like, what are you up? Are you up to 7 now or 6?
6.
Okay, you're getting there. Four more successes, and you will have trained your persuasion.
Yes.
I like it. I like it.
Queen, yes.
So what this is going to do, right? You didn't roll especially high on your persuasion, right?
I don't want to talk about it.
But you did roll enough, right? Like
I tried, okay?
You're cognizant, right? Like you're trying to practice the things that the masked man has been teaching you. And you notice, like Valena talks to you as you're going through the day, like you notice where you're kind of like maybe a little more brusque than you should be, or when you maybe should have tried to like suss out something a little bit more, or etc., etc. So you progress with your persuasion. Let me check the renown board and see what you are at. I think you might be too high.
Gain more.
Yeah, you are too high. You're at 12 renown with the city guard. You are too high to incrementally like boost up without doing something bigger, right? Or consistent, basically. So your presence is noted, and your caricatures or whatever you do artwork for, right? Like whatever artwork you do for the various individuals is appreciated, and it's definitely like you brighten some people's day, but it's not enough to increase your renown within the faction. You would have to do something like this consistently for a couple days to actually tick up. Or you would have to have a solid success at it, right? Like 15 or up type situation.
That makes sense.
What is it you say you do here?
I paint people. Then yeah,
Okay.
that's what I'm doing.
Sounds good.
I'm painting.
That is a daily activity for you. Okay. Sounds like we've done a bunch of daily activities, and for the most part, everyone has resolved those daily activities, so we would move into the evening, which normally would be the time when you all begin to either gather and finish up your days, which might still be what is about to happen, but someone else has a meeting to attend before we get to that.
Who got a meeting?
As Bones has to
No,
go to the Guild of Fine Carvers
Oh, I forgot about that.
and try to fucking rank up.
For the 17th time.
For the second time, you failed your first
This is
rank
the
up.
17th time you've tried this.
No,
Not
This is the
exactly.
second
not unexactly,
time.
though.
he joined the guild and made apprentice immediately. And then he had an assessment, and then immediately was promoted to journeyman. And then he tried to promote up to expert, but he he failed that by 1, and you have to have unanimous.
Alright.
So.
So Bones is just being a drama queen right now.
Yeah, he being
I'm
a
not
drama
being a
queen.
drama queen. That's hurtful. Why do you want to hurt me?
Oh.
I'm just curious.
Okay, so before we get to that, though, I think it's a good time for us to go ahead and take our break. When we get back from break, we will see how Bones does at the Guild of Fine Carvers, and then we'll figure out what the fuck the party wants to do afterwards and how long they're actually going to be up in Waterdeep. So
break me, father.
we'll see how that all goes in just a few. See you in a bit. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.